Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fishing a Flare. Today I'm going to be doing a spinnerbait 101 video. I've done a lot of 101 videos like chatterbaits and frogs and jigs and stuff, and I did get a request for spinnerbaits, and so I decided I'll go over, these are not all my spinnerbaits obviously, but just the main types of spinnerbaits that I have, as well as my rod, my reel, my line. Different brands, different blade sizes, different weights, different colors, and I'll go over when and how and why and everything like that. So I'll start off with my Lose reel. This one is just a speed spool, but normally I would go with a Tournament MG. Just how I have my rod combo set up right now is I had an extra speed spool that I put on this one, and I put my MG on my other flipping rod. But as fall comes around and I start throwing spinnerbait more, I'll probably swap it out. I do like the MGs better because they're smoother and they last longer and just a better feel in your hand overall. So, like I said, either a speed spool or Tournament MG is what I would go with. And then for a rod, I have a Denali Rosewood custom spinnerbait rod, 610, medium heavy. I know it will be upside down. But yeah, so this one, it's only 6'10", not 7 foot or taller. I usually like to go with the longer rods, but for spinnerbaits, you want a kind of a little bit of a shorter rod because you're making accurate casts, and with a shorter rod, you can make accurate casts easier, and it's not so much stress on your body and your arm and stuff like that. And I have medium heavy, and it comes with a moderate fast action tip. And a moderate action would be for crankbaits, and then a fast would be for like jigs and plastics. So a moderate fast is just enough. It has enough backbone because it's a medium heavy, but the tip's off enough because it's a moderate fast that when you're bringing your spinnerbait along and the bass grabs it, it gives the bass a little bit more time to grab onto the lure and take it and get it farther down in its mouth so you can get a better hook set on them. So that's why you want to go with a moderate fast action for spinnerbaits. And then for the line, I have 17-pound Vicious Pro Elite fluorocarbon. I like 17. There's some people that like to go up to 25 and some people that like go all the way down to 12. 17 is a good all-around for spinnerbaits or chatterbaits. Any fast reaction moving baits, I like to use 17. I like fluorocarbon over monofilament. I know some guys like pros like KVD, I know he likes monofilament for spinnerbaits because of the buoyancy. It keeps the spinnerbait high. But I like to throw my baits deeper than most guys, like for square bills and stuff like that. I just feel like, I mean, there are times when you're going to want to burn this like in a foot or two of water, but then most of the time for the lakes around where I'm at, the bass are hanging around 4, 5, 6 feet deep, and you just get that little extra depth with some fluorocarbon. So that's why I go with fluorocarbon. And then I'll go into some of the colors. So you can see I have lots of stuff. Here, actually, I'll go into the when first. So when you might ask, I would choose a spinnerbait over something like a chatterbait, which I throw a chatterbait probably 90% of the time. Throw it all the time, more than I do anything else really. But I will pick a spinnerbait up in certain conditions. So when, if it's windy, if it's got a little bit of chop on the water, a little bit to a lot, not big rollers and not just like a little bit of a ripple. When it's windy and when it's cloudy, spinnerbaits excel because it imitates, obviously some colors don't, but most colors imitate a bait fish, and that's what you're imitating. And when you have low light conditions and wind, it breaks up the bass's vision, and they don't see the bait as well, obviously. This doesn't look all that natural with a big wire coming out of it with some beads and blades and hooks, and it's not the most subtle and natural presentation. I'm not saying you can't catch them in clear water or anything like that, but when there's a little bit more surface disturbance and low light conditions, they don't get quite a good look at it. You can throw it during sun. I'm just talking about the best conditions to throw it. You can catch them any time of day with a spinnerbait, but if you're looking for a specific time, you're going to want to throw it when it's cloudy and when it's windy. Cold fronts is another good time to throw a spinnerbait if you're trying to get a reaction bite. So that's when I'd throw it over a chatterbait. Also, I'd probably throw it when it's more clear water, like I said, because they don't give off quite a hard vibration as chatterbaits do. They have more flash, and the flash that gives off is better in clear water than it is to dirty water. So then I'll go into where you throw it, and you'd throw this basically anywhere you would throw a chatterbait or a swim jig or a square bill. Cast it up and bring it alongside laydowns and logs and rocks, anything like that. It's really, really weedless. As you can see, like this one, I have a trailer hook on it, which sometimes you can or cannot put it on there. It's up to you whether you want it on there or not. And basically, it's just there for short strikes, and if you're not getting short strike, then don't put it on because it'll come through grass better, and stuff like that. The one thing I did notice is it doesn't come through like kind of mossy grass as well as a chatterbait would, because of all the swivels and beads and turning mechanisms kind of get all gunked up with moss and weeds and stuff like that. So just throw it anywhere. There's not a specific place. Just try it wherever you go, and if you can throw it and get it through there without getting it hung up or covered in moss, then it's probably a good place to throw it. So how to throw it. There's a couple different types of spinnerbaits. Like this one, not basing off color, I'm talking about blade sizes. So you can see there's some small blades on this one versus this one has some big blades on it. And this one is used for reeling in fast. If you're trying to get a fast reaction bite and reel it in with a 7-to-1 gear ratio. Oh, by the way, my lose is a 7-to-1 gear ratio. I forgot to mention that. But if you're trying to go real fast, then you're going to want smaller blades. If you're going to try to slow roll it, then you're going to want bigger blades like this. For water clarity, if you're fishing dirty water, you're going to want some gold blades. And if you're fishing some clear water, you might want some silver blades or even painted blades, like right there. Either way, they work pretty well. But for dirty water, you're going to want to stick to big gold willow or Colorado leaf blades. And this is a willow leaf blade, and this is a Colorado leaf blade. You can see the difference between the two. I'll take away these and lay them next to each other. You can see the difference in blades. That's a Colorado, and that one is a willow leaf. And so in dirty water, you're going to want to go to a Colorado blade because it has a wider rotation and a harder thump. And this one in particular I use in really, really dirty water because it's black and blue, which makes a good silhouette in the water, as well as a black blade with a big Colorado blade that has a big rotation in it. This bait right here puts off more vibration than a chatterbait. So if you do have spinnerbaits like that, then yeah, you would pick that over chatterbait as far as dirty water conditions and stuff like that. Colors, I like to stick to the basics, either chartreuse, white, or a sexy shad or a shad imitation of some sort. So like here, I have chartreuse with chartreuse blades. That's actually a really, really good bait. Throw it every once in a while, not all that often, but surprisingly it does work really well. And then here it would be like a sexy shad one. As you can see there, this is a KVD, this is a Booyah, and then this one is a KVD one. So you can see the different colors, some shad imitators, and then some chartreuse. And then here's another KVD that is white and chartreuse with a gold willow leaf blade on it. And then I'll go, here's just a straight white one. This is a New Tech Lures spinnerbait that's all white with silver blades. So this one would be good for clear water, imitating shad and stuff like that. So really, you can throw any of these in clear water. This one maybe more in some stained or a little bit chartreuse and some more stained. And then if it's really, really muddy water, you're going to want to stick to these two colors, like black and blue and dark shad and stuff like that. I think I went over, yeah, blade sizes, colors. Onto the brands. I don't know what this one is, to be honest. This one is a New Tech and Booyah and Strike King. Strike King, Booyah. I like to use, but my favorites of all time are definitely going to be the New Techs. I'll put them out there and show you because they do have some unique features that other brands do not. And one would be the arm. I'll compare the actual spinnerbaits themselves. So you can see here the difference in the wire design in it. As you can see, the New Techs kind of go up and then back in, versus this one goes up and then all the way back down. They do look a little bit different, and there is some advantages to it because this one will keep your blades riding a little higher, and it won't get unbent because it has a run true frame. So even though this is really, really light wire, and I've heard, I don't know why, but I've heard that lighter wire spinnerbaits are supposed to be better, and that was from Fluke Master, if you guys saw his video on that. But if you get like something like this and you just bend it out and you straighten out, so like say you get a fish and your blade, your wire gets kind of caught up like this and gets straightened back out, it will go back to its original size. Even though that's a little bit higher, you could always bend it back down, and just the way it's designed, how the head is free swinging, it will run true all the time. Your blades can be completely off to the side and it'll run true, except like these are not New Techs. If this was bent up into the side, it would run on its side or sideways, or it would twirl or something like that. So New Techs, they run true all the time. I do like the weed guard aspect on it, so I can throw this around more wood than I would a normal spinnerbait. And I do use a trailer hook as well sometimes, as you can see there. But overall, it's a nice spinnerbait. And then you can do this, which you guys have seen. where you pull that up and then you can change out the heads like this. And then you can go grab another head. So let's say you want to throw a chartreuse, you just grab a chartreuse, you want to put it on there, and your line is still tied onto that one. So you can just change that bait really easily. So I know this was kind of a lengthy video. Hopefully I answered any questions you guys had as far as like when, where, and how. Any questions, go ahead and comment. I'll try to get back to you. And that's it. Thanks for watching.